Thursday, the 10th of August 23. That's the road that the Robin Hood Way comes out into Blidworth. Well, I'm going to continue, hopefully, to get to Silval today. This is the way the track goes. I'm sitting in the bus shelter, coming down the main street in Blidworth. The bus on its way to Farnsfield, the 29 service. The road junction at the centre of Blidworth, another bus shelter, and the corner where the Robin Hood Way turns. Nice display on the corner. Turns the corner, goes down here. We can stay on this side of the road because when it eventually leaves this road, the road turns to the right and goes straight on. So we need this side. Push, push, push. The walk started at about 10:25. A lovely sunny day, the hottest day of August probably. And to reach 27 today, I think it said. Across Lyndhurst Avenue and then Park Avenue. Just before we get to the turning off point of the road, it gets to a treed area, pleasant trees lining the side of the road. Eventually we reach the end of Blidworth, and I assume the path goes through here. It might not, it's got to go down there rather than turn left. So this looks like an error. Yes, I think that's an error. Going back on the wrong way, there's the signs for Blidworth. This time I'll take the path this side, because the other one seemed to go further into the woods rather than the direction I want to go. Twisty roads for 1 mile. There used to be a pub here. I remember some of these houses being built, I think, when they put it down. The road veers to the right, and the Robin Hood Way should be carrying straight on. There's the sign. And it goes like this right up to the Ollerton Road. A well-defined track, but the undergrowth growing up quite well. We cross a well-defined track, goes into the woods. But the Robin Hood Way carries straight on. Come to a bit of a turn. There's the track. We turn at the post. The sign is on the post there. even more overgrown. Going to the end of that section by the look of it, and even more overgrown. This is one of those awkward paths at the side of a field where it's easier to walk where it's been ploughed on the edge of the crops. It's come a bit easier now, but it's tending to slope into the field, and the path does descend to the level of the field. It looks as if straight on it's even more overgrown, so I think most people have gone this way. Not that this shingle is much easier. Nearing the end of the field, the sand and shingle disappear, and there's a gap in the hedge. After the gap in the hedge, the path takes us across this field. It didn't seem a very wide field, but it's taking a long time to cross. Partly because of heaps like this that you have to get through. There's a sign on the post, and it's pointing towards the gap in the hedge. The gap in the hedge. The path goes through that gap. And along the field edge of the next field. I was thinking this has not left much room for the footpath, the crop being soon right up to the path, so I looked on the other side of the hedge, but that's no path at all. An access route to the field, and the next field on the left has caravans, but it's made the walking a little bit easier. Coming to the end of this field, an access on the left from the caravans, the end of the field, along the left hand edge of the next one. This field is coming to an end, and we've got another one. Which side of the hedge is it? Unless we're told otherwise, assume we carry on the right hand side. Let's have a look. And on the left hand side, could be either. I'll do this one. We might be getting close to the Oniton Road now. Last time I did that I crossed straight over. The last two occasions were both last century. Traffic's increased since then, so I think it's down to some pedestrian lights nearer the roundabout. There is a post here, possibly had a yellow top. The posts usually indicate some sort of public footpath. At the end of that field, it probably drops down. It can't be going to the left or right, it's got to be down here. No indication it goes straight across the field, so I'll go around the field edge. It's a bit hot today, so possibly Southall's out of the question. It goes through Farnsfield and there are buses from there back to Mansfield. I might take that option. Joining the left hand side of the next field then. This certainly looks, with the shingle, more like a public footpath. Farm access tracks. The path disappearing into a black hole in the wood. I think that's just before the Allotton Road, the A614. Where there is something. Oh, we can go round the stile, that's handy. A sign around the stile. Don't think we go that way. So has it got to be this way? Got to be this way. Don't know what happens at the end. There may be a little path going to the right of the concrete fencing. I thought this was another bungalow. It might be lived in upstairs, I don't know, but it's 3 garages. Hidden away in the corner, there's a gate which takes us through onto the Allotton Road, and you can see a fair amount of traffic. The way is straight across, but if you want to take your chance on that corner, otherwise you go down the hill. Or you can wait until the traffic is clear and then march briskly across. Immediately opposite where the road, the path came out onto the Allotton Road, I thought that was where we went, but it's here. I'm just creeping up the verge and I see this. It says look for a footpath sign. If there is one, it's in the undergrowth of the hedge, but there is the sign on the post, but this time it's the stile that we have to climb over. Eventually I managed that stile, getting the second leg over the top bar was hard going. I had to put my bag down and help it across with my arms. It's at the side of the field then. That's the gap where I thought it could have been, but there's no way through there. So onwards along here. The view south is towards Oxton and the Oxton Hills. That's the way the Robin Hood Way is going. And through this gap you can see what may be the entrance to White Post Farm. The farm itself behind the trees and across the road which goes to Farnsfield. At the end of this field we have to carry on one side or other of the hedge Looks like the left hand side this time. It isn't the left hand side, neither is it the right hand side, because there's the path there, and that's where the Ordnance Survey 1 to 25,000 comes in useful. When you've traversed that first field, the green track for the Robin Hood Way diverges from the hedge and goes across, as we're doing now. It's just 11:30, so that's 65 minutes so far, and it's rather warm. To a gap, a wide gap in the hedge. It looks as if it goes straight across, and not nearly as easy to walk, grown up with the height of the potatoes, and if they made ridges then it's awkward walking as well. There are ridges. It's going to take some time to manoeuvre this. Having navigated that more or less, I suppose the idea is to step across from crest to crest, but there's a bit far apart at the speed I was going, and it eventually finishes at an angle to enter the next field. Which happens to be more of the same, I think. The view probably shows you how tricky it is. Not easy to see where the path is till you're right upon it. Still a little way to go, but I come to here where there are the tractor tracks, which are a bit easier to walk on, to this main track which I could have picked up on the other side. And through the gap in the hedge, which continues along this wide track, which is rather good because we have yet another field full of potatoes. I've had enough of potatoes for today. There's potatoes to the north, west, south and east, which must make them a pretty profitable crop. You used to buy them in bags of £56 for, was it 10 and 6? Now they're 20 pence each per potato. They gap in the hedge and relief, although there's some steps. It's not growing potatoes. Ah. I suppose it is going to grow something. Quite extensive field. Another gap in the hedge and a useless post which you can't see from any distance away. It's indicating the route of the footpath, and it's got some signs on it as well. And not much use lying down there. Along the side of this field, at the end of the field, the path goes around this tree and continues across the field boundary when the hedge may have been taken away. There's a view of the houses on the edge of Farnsfield as we come round to the path. The path continues, and then the path has disappeared. It's come back again. The electricity pole has some signs on it telling us to go to the right hand side of this hedge. It's not a very easy path. The reason I turned back, I thought I'd check this. It says straight on, but it's not, is it? It's to the left hand side of the hedge. It ought to be at an angle really. But here we are back at this point onwards, which is now one of those awkward paths where the field has been planted right up to the path. There's no alternative other than having broken ankles to get into the field part until the path itself gets wider and not falling into the field. About here I can now make better progress. A fair path, hard, firm, fairly level. At the end of that field there's the gate. Thankfully it's not a stile. Some signs to confirm the route through the gate. Side of the hedge to the end of the field, and it's another gate. And we have a seat here, place for an apple at 12 o'clock, an apple and a drink. And this is the view from this seat, with a nice cooling breeze. And we get going again, that's the way. Suitably refreshed after my drink and apple, I'm leaving the seat and going along here. According to the route description, it's past a vicarage, or an old vicarage. It then meets a road where the way goes to the right, and it's a good point to stop for today. It's 12:05 on the hot day, so it's about 1 hour 40 so far. Farnsfield, peaceful August, summer sunny day. The path emerges on this side road, which is called Blidworth Road, and the sign at the end. Down here we go. The entrance to the hall. That's probably the Mansfield bus driving off. If I hadn't have sat eating the apple, I might have been able to get that one back to Mansfield. Have a look what it says.